What can I get you, stranger? What can I get you, stranger? So, Queen Enora is to marry another son of Merrick, is she? Perhaps once all this business of war is done, people can turn to a coronation and a royal wedding and think of happier things. Anything else you need? Some folks are angry that Loghain was allowed to become a Grey Warden, considering what he's done. Some of the Bodahn are still saying he should hang. I think most people are relieved, though. Loghain is a hero who saved us from your legions with King Merrick, and we'll never forget that. Anything else you need? There's a rumor going around that Loghain was being paid by Tevinter slavers who were taking elves from the Denerim alienage. It can't be true. Why would Loghain do such a thing? The thought of slavers here in Ferelden, it seems almost barbaric. Anything else you need? I don't know what to tell you. Nothing I can think of at the moment.
I shall do it.
I'm here to atone. I did you bad with that last tip. It can't end like that. Those noble ponces won't have the last laugh, eh? You game for one last heist? Nothing. You may not make much either. It's the principle, really. No, I didn't. I've steered you straight more than a time or two. Listen, Warden, you have to trust me. No bloody trap this time. I'd stake my life on it and... well, yours too. We're stealing the tears of Andraste. You care about the history? Don't know how much of a chantry-going folk you are. There aren't many things as holy as the tears of Andraste. Legend has it, before the Maker spoke to Andraste, she despaired at the fate of her fellows. Her husband, Mafarath, before he became a right bastard, would come to console her. She would tell him of her despair, and she'd always shed a single tear. Every night, he captured each tear in a vial. A full 30 nights that went on. Mafarath was worried sick. On the 30th night, the vial was full, and when dawn came, that's when Andraste saw her first vision of the Maker. Some of that story isn't in the Chant of Light, but it's been passed on for ages. Everyone agrees that the tears are a holy relic. Ban Frandarel's father secretly acquired the genuine tears of Andraste decades ago, and his son still has them locked up tight. The same Frandarel that baited that trap. So I propose you go to his real vault and rob him blind. Afterwards, I'll see that the tears of Andraste are given to the Chantry. We've tried under, now we can give over a go. The rooftops are dense enough that you can jump to the top of the estate. Then you can go in through the chimney. Head towards the vault area from the last job. Right before it, there's a wine cellar that's got a secret door. Go through it and find the real vault. That's all I know. I'll be waiting for you here.
The light. Yes.
All men are the work of our Maker's hands, from the lowest slaves to the highest kings. Those who bring ham without provocation to the least of his children are breaded and accursed by the Maker. Those who bring ham.
Watch out. Trap there.
Trap right ahead.
Would you like something? Very well. Begun. Shall be given.
Trap right ahead. I shall.
As you say.
Yes.
Shall be done. Let's be wary. Our skill has won the day. As you say. I shall do it.
Watch out, trap there.
Trap right ahead.
Watch out, trap there.
Trap right ahead.
Very well. It shall be done. I shall do it. I shall do it. We have much to do. Enemies approaching! Very well. It is begun.
Hello.
I shall do it. Very well. As you say.
You did it. You really did it. Tomorrow, everyone will be talking about this. Ban Frandera will be humiliated. Can I have the tears? I've arranged an anonymous delivery to the Chantry. After everything we've been through? I know I'm a criminal, but I fight the bastards that oppress my people with the skills the Maker gave me. Trust me, the Chantry will get it. I suppose you could drop it off in the charity box. I considered that, but I didn't want anything to trace the crime back to us. But you have a more legitimate reason to be there than I. Just sauntered up there and dropped it off. Very brazen of you. So, the matter is closed. Truly, it's been a pleasure.
All men are the work of our Maker.
I did not thank you. It occurs to me now that you have freed me from the crows, and yet I did not think to thank you for it. No matter why you did it, it was done, and I the benefactor. So, thank you. You say that so quickly, and yet it is an odd thing for me to hear. In the crows, we do not have friends, and yet here you are, and I cannot help but consider you such. Then allow me to say this. What we are doing here, stopping the Blight, I cannot think of anything I have ever done which is so worthy. I intend to see this through to the end with you. After all, someone must take responsibility for preventing your untimely death. A suitable task for a friend, yes? Now, isn't that odd? Just a year ago, Taliesin was telling me, Zevran, why are your plans always so horrid? Planning has never been my strong suit. Now, killing and lovemaking. Killing and lovemaking and witty retorts. Those I am better at. I forget where I was going with this. Well, no matter. Your wish? Whatever you'd like to ask. Yes, I suppose it is time. You have been a good friend to me after all. There is no reason to be silent. There is a reason I accepted this mission in Ferelden, far away from home, and it had nothing to do with any thought that I might leave the crows. Meeting you, after all, was quite an accident. My last mission before this one did not end well. You must realize that until that day I was cocky and arrogant. I was the best crow in Antiva, I believed, and I bragged of my conquests often, both as an assassin and lover. Indeed, I was often told I was insufferable, right before I ended up in bed with someone. Such is how it was. One of the crow masters grew tired of my boasting. My bid for an incredibly difficult mark was accepted, much to my surprise. A wealthy merchant with many guards and completely silent. Taliesin agreed to be part of my team, as well as an elven lass named Rina. She was a marvel. Tough, smooth, wicked. Eyes that gleamed like justice. Everything I thought I desired. Rina was special. I had closed off my heart, I thought. But she touched something within me. It frightened me. When Taliesin revealed to me that Rina had accepted a bribe from the merchant, told him of our plan, I readily agreed that she needed to pay the price and allowed Taliesin to kill her. Rina begged me not to. On her knees, with tears in her eyes, she told me that she loved me and had not betrayed us. I laughed in her face and said that even if it were true, I didn't care. I convinced myself it was. Taliesin cut her throat, and I watched her bleed as she stared up at me. I spat on her for betraying the crows. When Taliesin and I finally assassinated the merchant, we found the true source of his information. Rina had not betrayed us, after all. Of course not. I didn't care to know. I wanted to tell the crows what we had done, our mistake. Taliesin convinced me not to. He said it would be a foolish waste. So we reported that Rina had died in the attempt. We needn't have bothered. The crows knew what we had done. The master who disliked me told me so to my face. He said the crows knew, and they didn't care. And one day, my turn would come. To rub it in my face, perhaps. That I was nothing. That she was nothing. You once asked why I wanted to leave the crows. In truth, what I wanted was to die. What better way than to throw myself at one of the fabled Grey Wardens? And then, this happened. And here I am. It feels good to speak of it to someone. I swore I never would. Whatever it is I sought by leaving Antiva, I think I have found it. I owe you a great deal. Let us return to your mission, shall we? Suddenly, I do not feel like standing about. Your wish? Whatever you'd like. Your wish? Again? I'm game.
What do you want? I don't know. I guess we're pretty good friends now, right? I just keep thinking about all that slag with Branka. How I've turned out. I always said I was this way because she left, but I think maybe she left because of how I am. I've tried 27 new kinds of ale and learned I'm just the right height to give a human girl a good time. That doesn't make me a good man. Enough wallowing in my own filth. Did you want to talk about something? What about? I do. A bit. A little bit. When I was there, I thought it was a muckhole full of backstabbing, tin-plated would-be tyrants. But it's also home. Flies live in piles of dung, but I bet they'd miss it when they're gone. Still, I can't go back even if I wanted to. I'd rather be dead than be castless in Orzammar. I guess I'd rather be a useless lump of a dwarf out here than a useless lump of a dwarf back there. Nice of you, Warden, but I know what side of the house the Lou is on. Hey, let's go find something to kill, huh? All this talk makes my hands twitchy. There you are. I was thinking, we've been through a lot together now. We're like old war buddies. So I figured why not invite you to share a drink, huh? A drink from my own stash, my family's recipe, and dedicated to my comrades in arms. Yes! The Warden steps up! How do you feel? Oh no, the rest is for me. You'd need to do something really unspeakable to get into the rest of my stash. I just wanted to tell you, after all we've been through, you're like family to me. Closest thing I've had in years. Aye, a toast with a dry cup. You're not getting any more of my brew. So, do you want to talk about something? What about? All right. Aye, all right then. Right here, old pal. Well, what do you think? I mean, she was my wife. I spent 2 years trying to save her while she was off boffing that tramp and feeding my cousins to the Darkspawn. And now she's dead, and there's no way to ever make things better. It's good to be with friends, you know. Or at least chest deep in fallen enemies. You want to get moving now. My throat's sore from all this relating. Right here, old pal. What the sod is there to know? You get mad, you fly into battle, and things die. It's pretty simple. The hard part is getting in touch with your rage. We all learn to hold that back. It's why we don't kill every duster who looks at us sideways. You need to shut that off. For some people, being in battle is enough. But others have to think about something. Violence, monsters, nobles, your wife, whatever. Aye, all right then. You have a lot of nerve coming here. You're drunk. Take that, you sodding poetess. Your disguise can't fool me, woman. That's right. You keep looking at me like that. I'll just go get my pants from that sodding dog. You sod. Tell that thing to give it back. Only if by Oghren time, you mean. Yes. But that dog ruined it when he stole my pants. But I'll show him. Yeah, I don't need my pants anyway. But the dog doesn't know that. It will be his sodding downfall. You hear that, Nug Humper? I'm coming for you. Prepare to die. Ass chaps. Ass chaps.
I passed your test. Fate has a twisted sense of humor, it seems. I suppose you think I'm some sort of monster. More so since I survived your ritual. You keep striking at me, and I just refuse to die decently. Ah, now there's the venom I expected. Well, is that it? Surely you've more to say to me than that. Go on, try out all the curses and insults you know. I'll teach you some new ones if they don't suffice. And now what? Am I to be some trophy of your victory? A defeated enemy you drag about on a leash wherever you go? Or have you some worse fate in mind for me? Is that punishment meant for me or for you? And just like that, we're allies. I can't imagine it's so simple. I don't know what concession you want from me, Warden. I expect my word will not satisfy you. Indeed, I'd almost forgotten that. Thank you for the reminder. I think it's time we got to the point here. What do you want from me? My execution was all but arranged. If you'd wanted me dead, you could have had your wish at the Lands Meet. I assume, then, that you have something else in mind. Fortunate for me, then, that I've always been a man to take chances. I'm hardly blind to the irony of this situation. All of this can rightly be called my fault. Whether or not you can do better remains to be seen. But if you can make this the end, Warden, I will follow you, I swear it. Andraste, help us then. We should speak no more of this at present. Time's wasting. Did you want something? Hate doesn't describe it. I've seen painted, masked lords beat an old farmer to death with riding crops. To this day, I don't know why. Is that hate? I saw good, sensible men fight armored chevaliers with nothing. No weapons, no armies, not even hope of success to see the occupation end. Is that hate? Nothing about war is right. It's a force of nature, like rain, or wind, or faith. It simply exists, and we deal with its consequences. My reasons weren't wrong. I wanted to defend my home. I made tactical errors, however. In any case, there's no use discussing this. We have much work left to do. Very well, then. He was my friend. If he'd wanted to conquer the Fade, I would have led the charge. There are men who inspire such devotion that everyone around would lay down their lives for him. There are men who would come and go from this world, and no one notes it. What makes them so? Your guess is as good as mine. Merrick was remarkable. That's all I can say of him. I was hunting, well, poaching, to be entirely honest, when a boy my own age came stumbling out once. He was so dirty, you'd have thought he'd been dug up out of the ground. The traitorous bootlickers who'd just murdered the Queen, though I didn't know it at the time. He was bloody, exhausted, and obviously being hunted. I offered to take him to my father's camp. That's a swarm of hornets, for what it's worth, I'm afraid. I've gone on too long as it is. He nearly did. Merrick was never one to avoid his duty, and given his preference, he would have acknowledged his son no matter the circumstance. But he had more than his honor to think of. It would have ruined Rowan, after all. She'd be reduced to a concubine in the eyes of our neighbors, and put Kaelin's status as heir in question. So Merrick made the hard choice. Eamon offered to raise the boy, and that was that. Kings don't get the luxury of escaping politics. But we've been idle long enough. We should get moving. Very well, then. I suppose that depends on how much of the kingdom was left by then. Once the border was secure, the army would have regrouped to push back the Darkspawn in the south. We couldn't. Especially after Ostagar. It wasn't an ideal plan, but it seemed necessary at the time. In any case, there's no use discussing this. We have much work left to do. Very well, then. Anora always did have a flair for the dramatic. She could have been a bard. It's a foolish question. I'm sure you think me capable of every sort of evil. But Anora is my only child. Well, I'm sure having you come to her rescue gave Anora no small amount of pleasure. But enough about Anora. We ought to get moving. Go ahead. Eamon is a shrewd man. He'll be advising the boy. He'll do all right, I suppose. I was trying to be polite. Your friend may get good advice from Eamon, but he's weak. All the bands know it. You can see them. A pack of wild dogs waiting for a bone. The first chance they get, they'll pry concessions out of him. They'll pick at the throne until it's only a gilded chair with no power or authority at all. Anora, as you may have already noticed, is clever enough to manipulate the bands. She can make alliances and play them against one another to get what she wants. This discussion profits no one. I may be wrong. I will certainly hope so. By all means. Anora is a good queen. She has been for 5 years now. Whatever she might think, I never took power from Anora. She may have felt threatened, but I most pointedly did not remove her from the throne. In all seriousness, Anora is formidable. You should know that by now. No one is born wise. We only get that way by enduring. Anora is strong enough to endure. She may make a few mistakes along the way, but she'll survive them. But this isn't the time to discuss such things. By all means. So far as anyone could tell, she was the undisputed monarch of the whole world. She'd fall, skin her knees, and command them to stop stinging. It may have worked, too. Oghren sits in between the Brazilian forest and the sea. It's far from the old Tevinter roads. The village by our keep was never even as big as Redcliffe. There are always a few children around. Charcoal burners, sons and daughters mostly, or the children of servants. They formed into noisy gangs in the courtyard for their games. But Anora never joined them. Perhaps it was. She read a great deal. She followed her mother like a shadow about the gardens. She practiced archery and sword play. She was never idle. Solitude isn't terrible, you know. She had a free reign over the woods. If you're expecting some particular insight into my daughter's character, I'm afraid I'm probably not the best source. I'm hardly impartial. I think you already know the answer to that. But this is not really the time or place to discuss my daughter. We have work to do. Go ahead. Of course. I'm surprised. Thank you. I'm surprised.
Oh, how dear of you.
I suppose I shouldn't be surprised at your success. You beat me. Perhaps you can do this after all. Do you want something? I suppose I have a moment. Of course. Thank you. Do you want something? I suppose I have a... Of course.
What have you there? A mirror?
It is just the same as the mirror which Flemeth smashed on the ground so long ago. It is incredible that you found one so like it. I am uncertain what to say. You must wish something in return, certainly. You say that as if I should be accustomed to such a thing. I have never received a gift, not one which did not come at a price. I suppose I should say thank you for the gift. 'Tis most thoughtful, truly.
You have excellent taste.
You want something? I suppose I have a moment. Of course.
What is your wish, Bodahn? I am hardly surprised. To put it lightly, no one has a place here. Your farmers wished very well. As
If there's anything I can do for you, it's said the North Road Inn serves a shepherd's pie containing actual shepherds. Seems the innkeeper has something against the flocks being brought too near his own fields. That's what I've heard on the road, anyhow. Take it for what it is. I don't know what to tell you.
Hey, Warden, you gotta hear this one. This human walks into a tavern, and there's an elf there, and she says... she says... she says, I don't... Ass chaps.
To